Hello everybody, welcome back to the Lost Mine Pokemon Trading Card Game channel on YouTube. I bring you another post-rotation deck profile. Today, I'm talking about some rocks of the sun, of the moon, and Mega Lucario. This is a Mega Lucario Soul Rock Lunatone deck. It's very simple in construction, it is very aggressive, has a lot of HP, does a lot of damage. That's about it. Draws quite a bit of cards. So I'd like to start it off with 4 copies of Soul Rock. Now you might be wondering, why am I playing 4 Soul Rocks? I've only ever seen 2 Soul Rock, 2 Lunatone. But you see, we really want to start Soul Rock. There's no longer any Arven, so finding Air Balloon plus Soul Rock Lunatone is quite a bit more difficult post-rotation. So we've gone to 4 copies because we want to start it naturally more often. So you'll see 2 copies of Lunatone, and I'm just going to go straight to all the Pokemon here, just so I can better emphasize my point. And then 3 Riolu. So our best starter is Soul Rock. We have 4 of our 9 basics are Soul Rock, so we are less likely to start Soul Rock than the other ones, but we are quite likely to start Soul Rock. I don't know the exact math, but we are quite likely to start our best starter. Going second, we then need just to find a Lunatone and a Fighting Energy. Boom, 70 damage plus. Now, you may be used to seeing Soul Rock only in Goldango, and maybe like Ceruledge or something like that, but here we do have 4 copies of the Fighting Power Pro, so we can push really high numbers with Soul Rock very early, as opposed to just like the traditional 1 copy of Fighting Power Pro you'd be used to. I guess I didn't explain Lunatone. If you haven't seen Lunatone, Lunar Cycle, if you have Soul Rock and Lunatone in play once per turn, discard a Fighting, draw 3. Very good synergy with Lucario, which wants Fighting Energies in the discard pile, and then obviously Soul Rock is just a very efficient early game attacker with quite a bit of HP for a 1-prizer. We then are playing the 80 HP Riolu. We are not playing Poffin. We don't really need a reason to play Poffin, because if you're just getting double Riolu with Poffin, then you have no other, like, you're not playing Dreepy plus Duskull, you're not playing Buddy, you don't have a lot of targets. Poffin isn't great because it does not find Soul Rock Lunatone, so we're not playing it. And then we get to play the best Riolu, which does 1 for 30, can't attack the next turn, able to one-shot Buddy, and 80 HP, so quite a bit better into things like Pult, Monkey Dory, Frostlass, that stuff. And then our main attacker, with the big gusto of Mega Lucario. This is a card we have not seen much outside of like a 1-1 line, 2-1 line, maybe in Dango as like a cornerstone counter, because of big, scary, stinky, poopy Gardevoir EX. I hate that card. I'm so glad it's rotating. Get that thing out of here. I've been playing against Gardevoir for what feels like half a decade. That card's just been ubiquitous everywhere. It's been like the best deck since its release, it feels like, and I'm just so excited for a new, refreshing format without constantly having to face down Psychic Embrace, and the purple little symbol in the bottom left of Lucario is quite problematic. But since the only real relevant Psychic type post-rotation is looking to be Lily's Clefairy, which is a problem because you'll notice that Dragapult is very good post-rotation, so you kind of get hit with that stray of Lily's Clefairy. But we lose an absolute unwinnable matchup, and we regain our real 340 HP. Without weakness, Lucario is a huge tank, and basically nothing can one-shot it. Gravity Mountain doesn't work, like in something like the Zoroark deck Lucas profiled. It won't be able to one-shot this because 330 off of the Petch Mochi Black Belt does not get Gravity Mountain because it's a stage 1. This is very easy to evolve into. We then just do 130, we accelerate to the bench, our energies, we Mega Brave for 270, we one-shot stuff really easily with combinations of Fighting Power Pro, and we're just a very efficient attacker. It's a stage 1, it's self-sufficient, it sets up your other guys. Soul Rock enables the acceleration from the discard pile. To retreat is quite manageable, and then we do have things like Wally and our A-Spec to kind of heal our Lucario and get some really good tempo, and a lot of the time we're just going to be able to run our opponent off the board with our early aggression, which is something that you're going to feel very powerful with when you're playing with this deck. For Lily's Determination, you're going to find pretty much every deck plays this post-rotation. Iono rotates, Research rotates. This is now the default best supporter. We've expired our fun times of having Iono, Lily's Research in the same format, of just having like an ungodly pool of supporters to draw from, especially with Arven there as well. In my time playing the game, that may be the strongest supporter suite all legal at the same time in Standard together. But that being said, we're stuck with just Lilies now. Nothing to complain about. Shuffle draw 8, then shuffle draw 6. I played a lot of Cynthia back in my day in 2018, which was just worse Lilies, so I think we can manage. We then have 4 boss. You'll notice that a lot of Lucario lists that have been doing well over in Japan are playing the Hariyama. I'm not a huge fan of that card. It is quite powerful Pokepad. I could see playing like maybe a 1-1 line since we're already playing the Pokepads, but the thing does have 3 retreat cost. Its attack isn't great. And like we're such a self-sufficient deck. Like Lucario powers itself up on the bench. It powers up the next attacker. Our other main attacker draws 3 cards every turn. It's pretty easy just to get away with just playing a boss and not cutting a bunch of cards to play a 2/2. Or I've even seen like 3/3 lines of Hariyama, which I'm really not a fan of. Another thing I really like about Lucario is it's, again, a really good onboard deck. It has a lot of just power in play. It's not a huge hand-based deck. So Judge is going to be very powerful in here. We're going to disproportionately reap the benefits of a low hand size because all of our stuff's in play, and our attacker is so self-sufficiently strong. Whereas a lot of opponents are going to have to set up really big combo turns, and Judge is going to make that very difficult. We're choosing between Harley Quinn and Judge. I think anyone playing Harley Quinn is a clown. Get it? Because Harley Quinn's a clown? I believe Harley Quinn's text is you flip a coin for each player. Is it draws 6 or 5, and then the opponent draws 3. The average of that card is, I think, worse than just shuffle draw 4 for each player. I'd rather take the variance out of that card myself. We're then playing 2 copies of Kieran. This is a card I'd like to experiment more with. I'm very excited to try it out in our gameplay video, which you will see coming out after these deck profiles. Because it does allow us to switch. You'll notice Mega Brave does have the effect of not being able to attack during the next turn. So Kieran can reset that, as well as Kieran also lets you do plus 32 a active EX or V. These have been long not legal. So this can push us up to basically having another Fighting Power Pro in a turn and or a switch. So a little bit of a versatile card. I'm not sure how good the 2 Kieran is. I'd like to keep trying it. Maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not. But the last supporter we have here is Wally's Compassion. You'll notice Turo, Penny both rotate, so healing options are a lot more limited post-rotation. Wally is a much worse version of Turo. Turo was really good with Lucario because you were able to pick it up, get the energies in the discard pile, re-evolve into the next Lucario, resets Mega Brave if needed, and then you can just re-power up the other Lucario. The nice thing also about Turo is you're able to remove things from play and go back to a 1-price board state. These are all things Wally's cannot do. However, Wally can heal up to 330 damage from your Lucario, return the energies to hand. So in practice, it feels very similar. Obviously, it's a worse effect, but your Lucario is basically always getting 2-shot, being able to fully heal your Lucario and just bounce energies back. If you have to just Aura Jab, that's not the worst deal. But yeah, it's going to feel pretty powerful when you just blank your opponent's entire turn. Next up with the item cards. For Premium Power Pro, this card is immaculate. If you have played with Power Tablet, if you have played with Electro Power, you will know very much how powerful this card is. Plus 30 for your fighting Pokemon the turn you play this, it does stack. So I believe the most damage we can hit with a Kieran and 4 Premium Power Pro is plus 150, so that's 420 damage. Nice. That is a lot of damage. That is one-shotting anything. I think that's one-shotting most things even when they're caped. I can only think of a few things, like if you had a caped Lucario that would live, if you had like a caped Mega Venusaur, caped Charizard, you'd have to have something caped to live that. But we're able to hit 320 very easily with a double Power Pro or a Power Pro plus a Kieran. So we can one-shot things like Dragapult, we can one-shot Lucarios in the mirror, we can one-shot basically any Stage 1, Stage 2 EXs, and most Megas as well if needed. And it also helps fix our Aura Jab numbers if you want to be killing smaller things, like you could hit 220 with Aura Jab if you needed to. Also really buffs Solrock, pushing that into higher numbers is very relevant. Next up we have 4 Fighting Gong, another very powerful consistency card. You would have seen this in Dengo pre-rotation. Search for basic fighting or basic fighting energy. This helps you find the missing piece of your Solrock combo, or the fighting energy you're missing also finds Riolu. Notably only finds basic fighting Pokemon, so you can't find Mega Lucario off of it. We have 4 copies of Ultra Ball. This serves 2 purposes. We do lose research to rotation, so getting energy in discard pile can be a little harder. Obviously, we have Lunatones, so 1 per turn every turn. But say this doesn't get 3 fighting energy back. So if you need to get rid of an extra energy, you can Ultra Ball that away. And then also it's your only way of finding Lucario other than just drawing it. And then we have 3 copies of Pokepad. Like I said earlier, this is less good without the Hariyama in your deck because this is only finding Riolu, Lunatone, Solrock. This would just be... This is basically Nest Ball to hand. Functionally, have no Meowth in our deck or anything that would benefit from going straight from hand to the bench. So this is basically just a Nest Ball for us, but we know how good Nest Ball is. We've all been playing Nest Ball for quite some time. Next up, we do have 3 copies of Pokegear. This deck is a lot of the time just digging for boss. Maybe you're digging for a Kieran for a combo. Maybe you're digging for hand disruption. You have a lot of supporters that are very niche in certain scenarios. These three for certain at the bottom. But this is going to help you dig for the supporter you need that specific turn. And then in combination with the Soul Rock, you're digging 10 deep for a supporter, pretty deep to look for something that you need that turn. Especially since we have higher counts of our lilies and bosses and judges, which are the cards we really want. Next up, we have one Night Stretcher. One switch. Night Stretcher, very good recurring combo. The only thing that you ever really, as a Pokemon, would need to Night Stretcher back is maybe Lunatone. So you like prized one, they kill your one on the bench. Because I think it's pretty common knowledge that you're going to be playing more Soul Rocks than you are Lunatones because you'd rather start them. So they're going to maybe target your Lunatone down. You need to Night Stretcher back so you can keep drawing cards. And then also just getting back like an Energy or a Lucario that you need that turn, or Riola or something is very powerful. Our A-Spec of choice is going to be Scoop Up Cyclone. This is going to be our Turo, like pre-rotation. This is very powerful with like Lucario. So say they have a Lily's Clefairy on their bench, or they're setting up and they really want it to take a big knockout on your Lucario. You can go Scoop Up Cyclone your Lucario, go back to a one prize board state, attack with Soul Rock. It's very similar to Turo in current Dango lists if you've been playing the pre-rotation format. Able to put yourself back to a one prize board state is incredible. There are things that are going to be able to one-shot Lucario, as unlikely as that is going to be. Mainly Lily's Clefairy off the top of my head. But it is possible, and just being able to both go to one prize board state and also be a item version of your Wally effect, being able to fully heal your Lucario on an item and then continue playing a different supporter like a boss or a judge to disrupt, or maybe Kieran to do more damage, is something that no other card can do. Scoop Up Cyclone is, to my knowledge, the only way to actually pick up a Pokemon on a trainer effect, now legal and standard. Having Penny and Turo was a bit spoiled, I would say. For stadiums, we are rocking the 2 Team Rockets Watchtower. There's a lot of Noctowl decks post-rotation, and there's a lot of Meowth post-rotation. This is one thing I'm very impressed with Pokemon for doing. If you look, coincidentally, so many of the Pokemon they've printed as support Pokemon over the last couple of years are colors types. This hasn't mattered for any particular reason, other than maybe their attacks are a bit more splashable up until Watchtower is printed. We now have a card that is a lot more targeted than Path, but it actually does target a lot of the engines in the format, which I think is very interesting, as opposed to like a blanket effect such as Path. So we shut off Noctowl, we shut off Blood Moon, we shut off Pidgeot, which rotates, we shut off Meowth, which is the big thing. And then you will catch some other random colorless abilities here and there. Turns out Fan Rotom, so going first into something like a Noctowl deck is going to be devastating if you find your Watchtower. Also, Judge plus Watchtower and then a Knockout is very, very good against something like a Noctowl deck. Our third stadium here is Gravity Mountain. As a one-of, this may be very hard to find. It is possible that Secret Box could be the better A-Spec option, or maybe something like Max Belt for more damage. But Gravity Mountain does give Stage 2's minus 30 HP. We discussed that Lucario is a Stage 1. This will not be nerfing our HP in any way. This is going to help us push into things like Dragapult, any Stage 2 Megas, any Stage 2 that you can think of. A lot of those breakpoints are 310, 320, 330. We go from 270 to 300, and then Gravity Mountain can push us to 330. Anytime we get to save a Power Pro is something we're looking to do. If you've ever played Movie Max, you know, if you get to your last turn of the game and you just need to take one big knockout and you have all 4 of your Power Tablets left, it's pretty trivial to get there. So Gravity Mountain and Kieran both really help us conserve our premium Power Pros, which is amazing. It really helps us push higher numbers. And then to finish it off, we do have 10 copies of Basic Fighting. We have 4 gongs to find them, so we have 14 outs to start the game, and then Night Stretcher's an additional out. So we do have up to 11 copies of energy if we do need it. Keep in mind, though, Lucario is accelerating energies into play, and then Scoop Up Cyclone could technically get those back to hand if you're running out. So there is quite a bit of ways to cheat energies back. Also, Wally's Compassion can return energies back to hand. So you do have ways to get more energies if you're running out of them for Lunatone. Sucks that we lose Super Rod, which was really powerful with this kind of energy discarding engine, but I really am happy with the look of this list. Could be some things to think about, maybe like, is that Hariyama? Maybe if it's worth it to play Wally's, maybe you want to change your A-Spec, but I do think this is somewhat of a skeleton you're looking to play. This is looking to be one of the really aggressive decks to start, kind of replacing something like Goldango that we had previously. Definitely less out the gates aggressive, but a bit more of a tanking archetype, and a bit more easy access to the aggressive Soul Rock starts with the 4 Soul Rocks. But that's been our Lucario Soul Rock Lunatone deck profile. Very excited to show you guys some gameplay with this. Coming up, very excited that we're back doing these deck profiles. Myself and Lucas are going to have a bit more time to do this. Like I said in a previous video, I've gone back to casual at work for more time to do more Pokemon stuff. So I'm very excited about this. If you enjoyed this video, please leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're feeling very kind. You can check out my Metafy page if you're looking for any coaching, and you can check both myself and Lucas out on Twitter, as regrettable as that is. But thank you very much for watching. Take so much care. Bye for now.